ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Okay, so any questions, clarifications that you'll have? We met 2 years back, 2 weeks back, and not 2 years, 2 weeks back, and I think we did 12 to 14 that time. Chapter 9, 12 to 14 verses. Okay, yeah. Any questions? So it was a very simple thing, I think, straightforward. Okay, so okay. Then let us go ahead with the. As I said last time, he is talking about how, since he is everything, you can invoke him in everything. Okay, the basic idea was Ishvara is everything. Remember the fundamentals. Okay, that Ishvara means Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. In other words, he is both the single, efficient and material cause. Efficient cause is the intelligence behind the creation, and the material for the creation. Yeah. In fact, generally in Indian logic, there is a system of logic in India called Nyaya. Okay. Say for anything there are minimum 3 causes necessary. Nimittam Upadanam. Nimitta Karanam is the material, the intelligent cause. Upadana Karanam is the material cause, and the instrumental cause, the instrument with which you require. As far as Ishvara is concerned, the instrumental cause also becomes part of the intelligent cause only. Okay, Nimitta Karanam. Okay. So Ishvara is Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam. Therefore he is everything. Therefore he can be worshipped in anything. Okay, that's the idea that's being highlighted throughout the text now. Jnana yajnena chapyanye yajantaha mamupasate ekatvena prataktvena bhoda vishwato mukham. Jnana yajnena chapyanti yajante mamupasate. Worshipping me through jnana yajnaha, he says. What is jnana yajnaha? Jnana yajna is a yajna where the offering is your ignorance. Your ignorance is offered to the fire of knowledge. There is no physical fire. Okay. This what we are doing is jnana yajna. Okay. What we are doing here is jnana yajna. You are offering your ignorance into the fire of knowledge. So the learning itself is called jnana yajna, so that you will treat it with a certain sense of sacredness. The study of Vedanta is something sacred, so you will treat it accordingly. Ekatvena prataktvena. You can look upon me as one, you can look at me as varied things, because everything is me anyway. Ekatvena prataktvena. Bahuda vishwato mukham. Bahuda in many ways, because I am all over, he says. Everywhere you turn, you see only my face. Ishvara talking, okay? Wherever you turn, you see only my face, or kya hai? Of course, methods of invocation, etc. will differ. That's all fine. There are very clear-cut niyamas for all that. How it is to be done at temple, how you can do it very easily at home, all that is different, okay? But ekatvena prataktvena bahuda vishwato mukham. You can invoke me in any manner, in multiple ways. Why? Because sometimes the invocation will depend upon what you want. Because prayer is always with a reason. Remember this. Even when you say, I don't have anything, my sankalpa is only Ishvara Prityartham. For Lord should be happy with me. Meaning what? You want the general grace to come into every aspect of your life. There's always a purpose. And if you want anything specific, pray for that. Nothing wrong in it. You want something or someone, pray for that. You want to get rid of something or someone, pray for that also. Okay? Yeah. So in any manner, okay, in any manner, you're fine. Okay? Because our actions are meant to be purposeful. Every action that a human being does is connected with dharmartha kama moksha. In a broad perspective. This is what our, mapping your life goals according to Indian context. This is how it is. Yeah. Dharmartha kama moksha. So this becomes your, this. Any prayer also will fit into one of them. Then you pray for prosperity, for a house, etc. All kama prayers. When you are praying for His grace, etc., dharma prayers. Sorry, when you are praying for money, house, etc., artha prayers. When you are asking for someone in your life, for your children to be happy, etc., all that is kama. Because you want to feel a certain sense of joy out of a relationship. Kama doesn't always mean a romantic relationship. Okay? Any relationship will come under kama. Why? Because you want to feel a sense of joy and happiness in that relationship. Yeah. And of course, moksha relationship. Okay? When you pray for moksha, etc., so they'll directly come under moksha. Therefore, even when you're praying for a better afterlife, someone is bedridden, ill, and the person himself or herself or the children are praying, let the person get a better life, a new body and a better life. That is dharma prayers. Prayers for the future, for dharma, afterlife. Afterlife is also included in dharma. Okay? May the person have sadgatihi. Sadgatihi. Gati is going, his journey onwards may be very good, very positive. Okay. Therefore, all the prayers will come also and come under one of that. Okay. Then he is saying something, a similar verse we have seen earlier. Aham krutuhu aham yajnaha swadaham aham aushadam mantroham aham evajyam aham agnihi aham khutam. Aham krutuhu, the Vedic ritual is also called krutuhu, like yaga, etc. you will call. It's also called krutuhu, something that is being done. I am the ritual. Aham yajnaha, I am the worship. The krutuhu is done for worship. No? So I am the worship. Aham yajnaha. Sodaham, I am the food, the prasada that is made. Okay, in a Vedic ritual, you will actually put the food, or at least part of it, into the fire itself. Aham Swadaha. Aham Aushadam. Aushadam here meaning not only medicine, but food in general is also called Aushadam. How can food in general be called Aushadam? Because it removes the disease called hunger. Why disease? Because when you are hungry, you are not at ease. Dis-ease. Okay, you are not at ease. And this is also a sign that food should be taken as medicine. Then there will be never a problem of overweight. You are taking food as medicine. There will never be a problem of overweight. So there is a series of verses called Sadhana Panchakam. Okay. 5 verses on sadhana. So Shankara, written by Shankaracharya, Adi Shankara. So he says, Bhiksha Aushadam Grihyatam. Take Bhiksha as Aushadam. Okay. Now, okay, there's a lot of stuff about food now. I don't want to go into all that. Keto diet, paleo diet, intermittent fasting, this, that, oh my God. Okay, enough to drive someone crazy. All of them will work up to a point, none of them will work beyond a point. Okay, take that. Yeah. So it was so successful, I lost weight. Yeah, any of these diets you will lose weight because either you are cutting down one meal or restricting your time or cutting down some food items. So naturally it will work. Why? Because otherwise we are eating too much. I mean, there are all reasons for it and those reasons are valid. Nobody is saying no to that. Yeah. How food will generate insulin in your system, this, that, all that is correct. Okay. Yeah. Okay. In fact, the body is meant to do that. No? Yeah. Anyway, that all that apart. Bhiksha Aushadam. Okay. Aham Aushadam. I am the Aushadam, I am the food, he says. I am both the eater and the eaten, in other words. Yeah. Mantraham. What about the mantras that are chanted from Agnimile Purohitam onwards? All that is also Aham Eva. The mantras are also manifestation of me, he says. Aham Eva Ajyam. I am the ghee that you pour into the fire. Because there is no Vedic yaga done without ghee being there. I think the ancients were very smart. They knew that fire will not have any cholesterol problems. Nay, but the Veda also says, Grito vai ayuhu. Ghee is life, it says, And nowadays research is confirming that little bit of ghee is good for you. Little bit, okay? Yeah. Like how we used to do in olden days, the tadka would be in ghee. The tadka would always be in ghee. That's much. That's all you need. You don't need excessive fats anyway. Because the tadka you're eating, then you're always having some peanuts and some nuts and things like that. So you're getting enough fats anyway. Yeah. Ajam aham. Ajam. Aham agnihi. I am the fire into which the offerings are made. Okay. Aham hutam. All the offerings are also me. Because there are other offerings also. Besides food and everything, there are other types of offerings. Like if you ever seen a Navagraha Homa, these are easier homas to see because it's done all over. You will see for each Devata, each planet, each Graha. Okay, Graham is there is a Devata associated with Rahu. You are not worshipping Rahu, the planet. There is no planet called Rahu. They are called Chaya. In astrology, they are called Chaya Graham. They are shadows, the shadows of the moon. There is no real planet there. But through that Rahu, you are invoking Devata. You are invoking Ishvara through that Rahu. If any of you is going through Sadesati, then you are invoking Shani through Ishvara through Shani. Shani Bhagavan. Yeah. Surya, etc. Yeah. You are invoking Ishvara only. Okay, yeah. So all that, whatever is being offered, therefore why I am saying it is, in each of that, in that Navagraha Homa, for each Graham, for each planet, you will have separate type of wood used. So in the Navagraha Puja Homa, all the Navagrahas are invoked. And when the mantras for each Navagraha is going, you will find a different type of sticks are offered to the fire. This is not like a Arya Samaj Homa, okay? Where हम लोग home करता है, they will say, and the same thing is offered. Whether it is a marriage or a funeral, the same havan is done, the same offering is done, everything is same. No, each has his own specific thing. Okay, something to little bit to understand what the culture is about. Okay, because you are invoking, so there is a certain discipline involved in that invocation. Okay, therefore all this is myself. So with respect to a Vedic yajna, he is covering it. A Vedic ritual is covering it. And remember what I have always told you, Prathama Malla Nyaya, the logic of the world champion boxer. Prathama Malla. Malla, those who engage in physical combat without weapons. Okay? They were called Mallas. Included striking and grappling both. All martial arts, Mallas. Not Mallu, okay? Though Mallus are good into martial arts. There's a whole discipline there. But Mallas we are talking about, okay? Okay. So, Prathama Malla Nyaya. It's understood that if any one of us, or let us say a boxer, wants to be the world champion boxer. Now, I don't remember who's the world champion now, okay? I don't know whether any of you will remember, okay? Yeah, or no. So, if you want to be the world champion boxer, you don't have to fight every human being on the planet. Nor do you have to fight every boxer on the planet. You just have to get the right to fight the champion. For that you may have to fight a few people. And if you defeat the champion, then you are the next champion. It is understood that all the others are as good as defeated because you are knocked out the reigning champ. In other words, what? When the highest is mentioned, the lower ones are taken for granted. So here he is mentioning the highest you are capable of, the Vedic karma. So it's understood that the same thing is applicable for all the other karma you do. That's why there was a similar verse before, Brahma Arpanam Brahma Havihi. That verse was there that you normally chant before eating. Brahmanev is Arpanam, Brahman is a Havi. The act of eating is Brahman, the eating is Brahman, everything. The food is Brahman. Same thing applied to anything. In fact, in Taittiriya Upanishad, you will find the same principle applied in different ways to different things. Studying, chanting, sexual relationships, everything. Same idea is also. Why? Because Brahman is everything anyway. And these are all activities human beings get into. So, the same thing is involved in everything. You are looking at everything as Brahman. Okay. Some people have been dropping out. Okay. Okay. Then he says, Pitaham asya jagataha mata dhata pitamaha Vaidyam pavitram omkaraha Raksama yejurevacha. Pitaham asya jagataha. I am the father of this creation. All religions talk about a father, they don't talk about the mother, okay? As though you can have a father without a mother. Therefore he says, Mata chaham. Meaning I am both the material and the efficient cause. Generally, it is a mother that is considered as the material cause. Because from her body the child has come. So she is a major contributor. Major contributor in that. Okay. That's why the first claim will always go to the mother. Yeah. Or the child, the first claim is the mother. Okay. Therefore, Pitaham asya jagataha mata cha. Not only that, dhata cha. Dhata is the one who sustains it. Nourishes and sustains the thing. Okay. Pitamaha. If there is a grandfather for the creation, that is also me only. Meaning if you are looking for a further cause, don't look further, I am the same thing. All causes end with me. All cause-effect relationships end with me. I am the final cause. To indicate that, he is saying Pitamaha and the grandfather also. There is no other cause. Yeah. Beyond me, there is no cause. All your causation and cause effect hunting can end with me because time and space has originated from me. All cause effect relationship is only within time and space. And the whole space and time is manifestation from me. Etasmad atmanaha akasha sambhutaha ityadi shrutau. All the shrutis are there. From me alone, space, etc. has come up. Therefore, the whole thing, Pitamaha. Vedyam pavitram omkaraha. Okay. I am the one, the most sacred. Pavitram here is most pure, most sacred. Omkaraha. Omkara is always attached to every mantra. Because that's what makes a mantra a mantra. Okay, Omkara makes it. Therefore, Vedyam, know me as the Pavitram Omkara. In fact, Omkara is nothing but a name for Ishvara. We have seen that before, remember? It's a phonetic name. A name with only a sound, not even a language. Really speaking, if you want to have a name for Ishvara, which is cross-cultural, cross-religion, it has to be Omkara only. Why? It is not even any language based, it is only sound based. And for everything in between, Om. All names are his names. All forms are his forms, all names are his names. All names are nothing but words. All words are nothing but sounds. First sound, basic sound, ah. Last sound, in between, oo. Therefore, in these three sounds, Ishvara is covered. Because you can't call him any one name. His one name means all the other names he is not. Though it's true, Indians love calling God names, you know. This is my irreverent bhakti coming up, okay? Sabjan, all Indians call God names. Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama. 1,000 names you will call him. And say this is worship. Don't worry, I have also done a lot of all that stuff, okay? Okay. All right. Vedyam Pavitram Omkaraha. Rik Sama Yajurevacha. The whole Vedas, Vedic meters, Rik Vedaha, Yajur Vedaha, Sama Veda, all of them. By implication, Atharva Veda also. All of them. Ahameva is the manifestation of me alone, he says. Yeah. Even though the Vedas you will divide into 4, you look at first portion, second portion, all that you will do. And that's correct also because of what you want to understand from the Veda. But the fact remains, the whole Veda is my manifestation alone, nothing else. Yeah, I am the Veda, he says, you know. Yeah. This simple enumeration, I don't think any of you have any questions on these, isn't it? Simple explanation, simple things, okay. Gatir bharta prabhu sakshi nivasaha sharanam sukhrut prabhavaha pralayasthanam nidhanam bijam avyayam. Gatihi. Wherever you are going, kidhar bhi ja raha hai, what journeys you take, I am the final abode for all of you. Okay. Sadgati, I want to go to heaven, I want to go here, I want to go. Oh, sab cheeze theek hai. Chakkar maro. Wherever you go, I alone am there. Okay. Gatihi. Bharta, I am the one that sustains. I am the one that nourishes and sustains. I am the one that nurtures. Bharta. Very interesting. The word for husband and wife both have come from the same root. Bhr, bharane. From bhr comes bharta, masculine. Bhr comes bharyaha, feminine. Two Sanskrit words. One for husband, one for wife. What is your fundamental duty towards each other? Nurture each other. Support, nurture, not put down. Not a one-upmanship. Nurture and support. That's all you have to do actually. Other things will come in. Other things will come in. Yeah. Bharta, Bharya, very interesting. Because the Sanskrit, the word is self-explanatory. Okay, therefore Bharta, I am the one that nurtures, supports the whole world. Yeah, whole world depends upon me, he says. Prabhu, I am the Lord of the whole world also. Everything that functions according to my laws alone. Prabhu. Sakshi, I am the witness at the same time, I don't interfere with the world. He is my devotee. Usko thoda de do. That guy is criticizing me. Chodo. No. Everyone gets according to karma phalam. Whether Rama does tapas or Ravana does tapas. Yeah. Whether Rama does tapas or Ravana does tapas, phalam of tapas will come. Yeah. Ravana did tapas, he got it. In fact, he gave a prescription to Ishvara. I want you to come and kill me like this, in this form. Because I can't be defeated by the gods, the Gandharvas, all that he covered. Left out human beings, Vanaras, and bears. He left them out. Even bears, I have to really look at that word etymologically. They were not bears, like how Vanaras are not monkeys. And bears are not bears, okay? Yeah. They are all separate race of people that probably went extinct. Yeah. Because according to Western historians, we will say 6,000 years and things like that. American historians. But according to our, there is one yuga over. More than 20,000 years have gone before. Okay, yeah. Okay. Anyway, that apart. Okay. I don't interfere, Sakshi. Karma phala comes. I have created the infrastructure and left it. Now it's up to you all. Do what you want with it. The laws, everything has been set up. Karlo. Yeah. Okay. Nivasaha. I am the abode of the whole universe. Where does the universe exist? Where does the universe exist? In me alone. Therefore, I am the abode for the universe. Yeah, you can say Gati and Nivasa are same in a way. Yeah. Okay. Sharanam. I am the final refuge for everyone. Kahan jayega? Okay. Where are you going to go? Going to come to me alone, he says. Even if you are seeking refuge here and there, final refuge is the Lord alone. Okay, final refuge is the Lord alone. That's why we see this is all part of our worship. When you finish your worship and you finish your pradakshina also, yanikani cha papani janmantar kritani cha, nakshantu pradakshine pade, let all that be destroyed by every pradakshina I do. Then what do you say afterwards? Anyatha sharanam nasti tvameva sharanam mama. I don't have any other refuge except you. You say that. It's part of our worship every day. Why, who's your final help comes from whom? From the Lord alone. Others are nimittas. People helped you, true. Nimitta matram. He'll say that. We'll see that in the later chapters. Nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin. He says that. be an instrument in my hands. Final refuge is the Lord alone. Sharanam. Suhrat, friend, he says. I am also the friend to everyone. Buddy. One of the most fundamental relationships in relationship, isn't it? Friend, buddy. Yeah. Because unconditional. Friendship is not very conditional, is it? I mean, there are some. Every human relationship has some structure, but the least is in friendship. We accept each other. Yeah. Okay. Prabhava pralayasthanam. Prabhava pralayasthanam. I am the source, Prabhava. Pralaya, I am that into which the whole creation is resolved. I am the sun. Okay. Yeah, there's an interesting question. I'll handle that. Nidhanam. Okay. Nidhanam meaning the base for everything. This is explaining what Prabhava Pralaya Sthanam is. I am the base. Like how the waves come from the ocean, die down into the ocean. The whole creation comes up from me, dies down into me. Therefore, Nidhanam. Bijam Avyayam. I am the Bijam also, the source. Bijam used in the sense of source, the seed of the creation, source of the creation. But in all this, Avyayam itself not changing to become the whole thing. Without changing, Ishvara has become the whole creation. Okay. That's like saying without going you have come. How is that possible? There's an old story about this, okay? This story I must have heard some 30, 40 years back from my teacher. But suddenly I remembered it. So I thought I'll share it with you all. You know, in ancient India, ancient India means 100 years back, okay? Not 100 years back. Even there was this custom that generally food was not sold. How can you sell food? Everyone has a right to live, a right to eat. So never used to sell food. So what about travelers going up and down? How much food can you carry? So the custom in the villages was that people, especially people who could afford it, will open the door at noon and announce, is there anyone who requires a meal? Please come. Have a meal with us. Very beautiful custom. My grandmother had that. No one would return empty from our place. If you go there for food, you'll always get it. My grandmother was like that. Yeah. There are times when everyone has eaten, only she is there. There's just enough food for her, and someone will turn at the door. Half of it will go to her. I mean, she's a great lady in that. Okay. She died when I think I was a kid or something, but whatever. These are all stories I've heard from the others, okay? Yeah. Anyway, that apart. This was a custom. So there was one miser in the village. He was well off. Okay. He would watch from his window. Nobody outside. He'll open the door. Is there anybody who wants food? And then quickly close it. He was a miser. And there was a local sadhu who used to go for alms from one street to another, one house to the other. And one meal, he was happy with that. So he saw this guy always like that. He says, no, this miserliness is not good. I must teach him. It's my sadhu. As a job, as a sadhu, I am in this village. I must make him understand that this is not healthy. So he went and hid behind the door. So the guy came through the window, he looked, he couldn't see anyone. He opened the door and said, is there? And the sadhu popped up. He says, I am here. Bhiksham dehi. Abhi kya karega? You publicly declared it. And there are villagers watching. So he called him inside and made him sit. Then he goes inside, tell the wife what to do. So the wife says, I have cooked only for 2 people. She is his better half. Na? So she lives up to the family tradition of miserliness. Okay, cooked only for 2. There is no food for them. ये क्या करेगा? What to do? You can't ask him to go also. But there is a tradition among sadhus, okay? Especially those days. Nowadays people come to sadhus. If husband and wife fights, then the sadhu should not remain there, he should go. Why? It's a personal matter here. Nowadays if husband and wife fight, they generally come and talk to me. At least my students do, which is a very good thing. Yeah, because come on here, I'm as an objective person, I can help them resolve that conflict. Plus I know something about conflict management and things like that, so easier. I care for both of them, even though only one may be my student. Unless the other person is a certified, you know what. I mean, hota hai, it's all our fate now, what to do. So, the husband said, see, we will fight, then he will go away. So he went out and got the trunk of a small plantain tree, banana tree. Because if you slit into two and flap it, it will sound as though you're slapping someone. So he went and started doing that. And the wife started screaming, don't hit me, don't hit me, don't hit me. After some time they peeped out. No sadhu is not seen. He has gone. So they kept the food and both of them are sitting to eat. And the husband is saying, see, how I hit you without hitting you. And the wife is saying, how I cried without being in pain. And from the rafters above, the sadhu drops down. See how I have come without going. Okay. So these are all rustic village stories, okay. I didn't grow up in a village, Though I am familiar with village life. I used to spend every holiday in the village. But this is one of my teacher stories, okay. He grew up in the village, a small village called Manjakudi. Okay, yeah. You will get the newsletter this time. I hope all of you are getting it. If anyone is not getting it, please send me a message. Your email, I will put you on the list. Okay. And there I have written something about Pujya Swamiji also. Yeah. Because some of you know him, many of you don't know him also. You know? So, yeah. So, anyway, this is like going without coming. So, without changing, I took off from this part. Without changing, Ishvara has become the whole, manifest the whole creation. Yeah. Because he is the source of time and space. So, he cannot become a product in time and space. He can only manifest things. Okay? Manifest things. That is it. So, somebody asked the question that if everything is Ishvara, where is Punya Papa in it? If everything is Ishvara, that is true. And Dharma is also Ishvara. So, Punya is when you are acting with Dharma. Papa is when you are acting against Dharma. Why? Because as a human being, you have freedom of choice. And the freedom of choice is given so much that you can abuse Dharma also. It takes wisdom not to abuse it. But freedom, if it has to be freedom, you should be free to abuse it also. Though generally when you abuse freedoms, you lose it. Yeah. It's an interesting style of parenting with kids, okay? If you abuse your freedom, you lose it. Yeah. So, adharma is only that. You are going away from dharma. Going away from dharma. Because dharma is what sustains. So, there is an ethical order also in the whole thing, which sustains relationships, which sustains a society, which is conducive for my growth as an individual. So, when I break that, there is a dharma. Yeah. So, it is not that I am punished for it. It is action and consequences. I did something dharmic, I gained some punya. I did some adharmic thing, I gained adharmic results. Papa, I gained. It's simple as that, nothing else. Another person asked, why is it we are worshipping Ishvara through Navagrahas? You can worship Ishvara through anything. Okay. Nowadays you can worship Ishvara through your laptops and your phones also. Why? They become vitally in your connection with people. Okay. You can invoke Ishvara in anything. If you have problems in your horoscope related to some of the grahas, then you will invoke accordingly. Remember I said every prayer is purposeful. Okay. You are doing everything, but nothing is working out properly for you. You look into it. You have to go to a good astrologer. Now finding a good astrologer is like finding a good doctor. Not easy. Okay. You go to a good one and then you ask him. You look into it. Your guru is weak. That means last lifetime you have done a lot of papa karma. Okay, guru is weak. That's why luck is not with you. Therefore you worship the Adhisthana Devata of Guru. So you can go directly worship Guru himself or the Adhisthana Devata of Guru Devata. That will become Vishnu. But specific will be to worship Brihaspati Guru. Or he'll say 7.5 years Shani. Nobody escapes that. If anyone gets broken hands, legs, etc., check. There may be some either some Shani ka bhukti or Sade Sati or something like that going on. Okay, yeah. Bad luck. ठीक है. So worship Shani. One good thing about Sade Sati is, if you learn to sing in your problems, meaning learn to be happy in spite of your problems, Shani blesses you. Yeah. So you worship Ishvara in these forms for specific things. Yeah. For specific things. Yeah. Like there are specific deities invoked, conceived of for specific. Like you don't go to Ayyappa and say, I want to get married. You are not meant to. Ayyappa worship is for moksha, nothing else. If you are going to Shabrimala, Ayyappa, the worship is geared only for moksha, nothing else. That's how it is invoked. Yeah. You want to be battle hardened. You don't worship Saraswati. You worship Durga. You worship Kartikeya. You worship Anjaneya. According to how the deity is conceived of, accordingly your worship is. So what according to what your need you have conceived. These are all traditional conceptions. Traditional invocations. Yeah. Can we create some new ones? You can, but there is no need. It's all your desires are covered. But what about laptop, this, that, etc.? Communication is covered. It's all for communication. Buddha, Wednesday. Buddha is for communication. So it's all there. So that's why various worships have come. Okay. Therefore, aham bijam avyayam. Okay. Then going further. Any questions up to now, or these are clear? 2 questions came up, that's why I thought let me handle that. I hope those questions the answers are clear for you all. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, shoot. Yeah, shoot, yeah.
Maybe a very silly one.
It doesn't matter.
Sir, when we say Bhagwan has everything, all deities put together, that's my basic understanding. Why would we want to create separate deities for separate things? I mean, why wouldn't we just worship Bhagwan in his...
Yes. See, if you really understand Ishvara is everything, if you really understand that Ishvara is the totality, that means Ishvara is alive for you, moment to moment. Whether you are dealing with a laptop, dealing with a phone, dealing with your partner in life, Dealing with the absence of a partner. That absence is also Ishvara. Shunyaya Namaha, remember? Yeah. Anything. If you recognize everything is Ishvara, then you can directly pray only Ishvara. Okay, that's fine. However, in life, before you got this understanding, we are all human beings. And our actions are generally mixed. Good, bad, ugly, all mixed up together, no? Is there anybody who has not done anything wrong in this lifetime? Please put up your hands. Is there anybody who has done a lot of wrongs in this lifetime? Both hands up. This is human beings. Correct? So, there are some specific karma phalas that come which require specific ways of handling. It's like going into a doctor and asking, "Doctor, give me the best medicine." What will he give you? What is the best medicine? If there is nothing wrong with you, he will give you some vitamins. In Ayurveda, he will give you some immunity boosters. Nothing wrong with you, just take something for better health. But your treatment will depend upon what problem you have. Similarly, if I am being troubled by something, then I need to take care of that issue. No? That past karma I have to take care of. So accordingly, I have to invoke and worship. That is one part of it. Second part of it is what type of a form I can relate to with Ishvara. What type of a form? How do I like to relate to Ishvara? That will depend upon my psyche. How do you like to relate? Friendly, fun-loving, or stern, austere? What do you like? Mother figure? Amazonian? Or gentler? What do you like? We have things to cover all varieties, okay? So that's why other cultures have a problem, because they don't have the richness of our culture. So they can't relate. They only have one God. So they have to blame him for everything. And he's supposed to take care of everything also. God is only one. We are invoking him differently. There, that one God they talk about is isolation. Because everything is different from God. He is in Timbuktu, wherever it is. Whereas here it is not that. Here when we say one God, there is only God. One God for us is only God. There is no you and I separate. He includes everything. That is blasphemy in other religions. But how is it that I can relate to that everything? If you can relate directly to everything, relate directly, no issues. But when we start off our life, we don't have all this knowledge. So what is it you are worshipping? Will depend upon what is it in your psyche. What is there in your psyche? Depend upon that. Are you an academic, scholar, etc.? Then you will probably like Saraswati, this, that, etc. If you are focusing as a Vedanta student, then you will invoke Shiva as Dakshinamurti. Yogi, Adi Yogi, Shiva, but as Adi Yogi now. Ishvara, Shiva, but as Adi Yogi. Remember, in all these invocations, there is a certain limitation coming in. But that's how that's your way of relating. That's your way of relating. Yeah. Because what is the doorway with which you are approaching Ishvara? Yeah. What is your, what do you call that? Doorway or entrance or whatever.
So if I relate to Ishvara as Ishvara and not as a particular deity, so even when I'm doing the meditation in the morning, I'm saying Ishaya Namah.
Yeah, because that's directly Ishvara.
So is that wrong?
No, that is correct.
Because I can't, increasingly I feel I'm tying to one form if I say, if I chant with
Correct.
any particular day.
Correct. That's why I deliberately used Ishaya Namah for contemplation. For Japa Dhyanam and then in Nididhyasana. It goes to, I use Ishaya Namah because I want you all to directly be able to go to Ishvara without anything else. But if you are facing problems at work, then थोड़ा गणपति को वर्शिप करना अच्छा ही है, Ganesha. Because you are specific, Baba. Invoke Ishvara as you are invoking the same Ishvara. Remember this. You are invoking the same Ishvara in this manner so that your problems disappear.
And that is something that I'm having difficulty now.
Now,
More difficulty before.
before it was not there.
Following.
Before you could worship a human being, there was one human being who was near Bangalore whom you are worshipping. Remember? Yeah.
I still can. I mean, because I see Ishvara in everything.
Yeah.
But if you ask me specifically, okay, I will invoke Ganapati, but probably I know now that it's just a form of Ishvara.
Yeah, Ganapati is also Ishvara. See, there are two ways.
Feeling maybe it's become,
Yeah.
Bhakti is there, but there is too much logic now coming in.
Yeah,
Or rather,
agreed. Eventually, you have to understand Ishvara as Abhinna Nimitta Upadana Karanam, number one. Number two, as non-different from yourself. So you have to understand Ishvara as a cosmic order. That is necessary. That's a good thing. At the same time, it's something like this. If you want to catch my attention, let us say both of us are sitting down and listening to my teacher. And you want to catch my attention. You tap my finger, my little finger. You got all my attention. So in this little finger, you are invoking the total me, isn't it? It is not that you tap my little finger, therefore I will give you little attention. You pull my hand, you get a little bit more. Then to get my total attention, you will have to give me a body massager. But that is not true. In this little finger, you are invoking the whole of me. So in Ganesha, I can invoke the whole Ishvara. In Rama, I can invoke whole Ishvara, which I do every Wednesday. In Shani, you can invoke whole of Ishvara. Saraswati is going on. Invoke whole of Ishvara in that. Nothing wrong. At the same time, look at how you relate to your little finger. This has been paining for 3 days. So I go to the doctor and say, Doctor, my little finger is paining. Now what am I doing? All of me is not involved here. I am not saying I am in pain. Some people say that. I'm saying my little finger is paining. This is paining. Can you just see what is there? Are you getting the idea there? It's specific. So those who cannot relate to Ishvara in totality, for them definitely a deity becomes important. It becomes what is known as Ishta Devata. Many wise people also had that. Why? Because that's how they started their journey. They started their journey with some Ishta Devata. No? And in Ishta Devata also there are differences. No? If you are saying Krishna, what type of Krishna you like? Krishna the Gopika Priya, huh? If you are romantic, you will like that more. Or Krishna on the battlefield. What do you like? By the way, I like both, okay? Equally well. I'm comfortable with both the roles, okay? The warrior and the lover, both. So, what is it that you like? Mother figure, yeah. Amazonian Durga, oh yeah, great. And Lalita also, oh yes, I did Lalita Sahasranama for years. 20 years or so, every day. It depends. But somewhere I had dabbled in Vedanta in my previous lifetime, because even as a child, when people used to ask me, you know, in a village and all, they will initiate conversation like this, thinking that you are a city-bred guy, you don't have enough Ishvara in your lives. So what is a God? I said, my God is everything. Rama is also God. Rama is my God, okay. Krishna, Krishna. Durga, Durga. Somewhere I had exposed to some Vedanta, because for me, God included all of them. So Ishvara, some idea of Ishvara was there in my psyche. Maybe some previous lifetime I must have. Because this lifetime, at that age, nobody taught me anything. Yeah. Our Kula Devata was Devi, so it's a different thing. Mallu, no? Devi is very common. And my grandfather was a tantric, so what do you expect? I mean, that is not his primary role, but he was a great tantric. So, it's a question of how you relate. Finally, Ishvara's whole order. And then finally, what will worship become? Being in harmony with the universe. No? Recognizing everything is Ishvara. Every action you do is because of Ishvara. Ishvara Arpanam happens. You don't have to make a special act of offering. It happens. You recognize, I am talking because of Ishvara's order, Baba. You are listening because of Ishvara's order. If I am talking sense, that's because there is Ishvara's order here. It is making sense to you, there is Ishvara's order there. If you are confused, there also is Ishvara's order. Because what is order? Wherever you can see cause-effect relationships and connection, there is an order there. Even associative connection is Ishvara's order. Because some connections are by sheer association. Yeah. I talked about going to my hometown, Mallu, God's own country, as part of this. So somebody by association will think, oh, beautiful place, etc. I wish I could go for a holiday. Yeah, actually I want to go into the hills. But then hills, there are landslides and all now. Yeah. My God, what a problem. Now what is the logic there? There is no logic except by association. That association is also Ishvara's order. Because your mind thinks through associations. Therefore there is an order there. So then you are in harmony with the whole order. That's ultimate worship. If you can feel that Ishvara is live in every little thing, that is around you, everything that you deal with, that you do, people you relate to, then there is what is the need for worship? There is no need. Until we reach there, some acts of worship are good to keep that thing alive. A form is meant for the spirit. The spirit is more important than the form. But if you dismiss all forms, you will find in time the spirit also going. Because the spirit has to be anchored through a form in your mind. Unless the spirit is so well anchored that you don't need a form. So, thoda salam alaikum bolna sab अच्छा है ये. Yeah. It's good to do that. Yeah. So that's why he says ekada bahuda ye said, na? Previous couple of verses back. In manifold ways. Invoke me in whatever way. Finally come to the understanding. Okay. As I said, sometime I'll do that 6 ways of knowing God. Okay. So I'll do that. 6 levels of how you understand Ishvara. This is the 6th level. 7th level is you and I are one and the same. It's called moksha. Okay. Yeah. So until that happens, all this becomes necessary. After that, sometimes some people continue it as it's nice to do it. Nice to express that bhakti. Fine. After all, I've been doing it all my life, let me continue it. Okay. No, forget it. Certain changes I'll make. Okay. It doesn't matter. Once you know the truth, it doesn't matter. Then you only own up the truth. What matters is to own up the truth in your life. If that is also done, then what matters? Nothing matters. And what will you do after that? Let's go and have a cup of coffee or kya? Literally. It's almost 6:10. So good place to call it a day. Okay, Om Tat Sat.